Welcome to Joe's Atmosphere.
Cook your shrimp, please. All of a sudden, my shrimp pan is burning up like a smoke fest.
Just
Our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep.
Oh, goddamn hacker, that second time night that asshole's cut in.
All right, boys and girls, it is time for State of the Atmosphere, our weekly look at pop culture and everything that goes with it. We got X-Men, we got the Roadhouse, we got the pop culture update, including the box office results. Plus, we might actually hear from Knock on his con tour. So let's get into it right now on State of the Atmosphere. All right. Welcome to State of the Atmosphere. I'm your host, Joe's Atmosphere. And as usual, I've got some friends along with me tonight. It's good to see all you guys here on a hump day, middle of the week. What's up? Knock, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Good, man. Good. Yeah, it's always nice doing this show because it literally tells me it's more than halfway done with the week.
That's it. You've got your third day under the belt. You only got 2 left.
Yeah.
Good to go.
And tomorrow's Friday, and then Friday's there, and then all right, it's the weekend. So it's always a good time. Perfect day of the week to do the show.
There you go, man. Cool. And also another working man we got along with us is Das Wolfen. What's happening, man?
Oh, what? Sorry, I was distracted by Scar Joe's boobs.
Understandable.
Hey, man, we all know we are not afraid of the male gaze here. Hell no, we're not.
I've been smitten over Sydney Sweeney. It's just kind of, oh man.
Saw her today on Drew Barrymore's show talking about that new movie she's got. Dude, this girl has got a lot going on, guys. She produced. She's playing a nun in some. Is it a horror movie or something she's in? What is?
Yeah, I got to look up the name. I forget. It's like Immaculate.
It's her latest thing. She's playing a nun in it, and she produced that show. I had no idea she had that much going on. Wow, man. She's investing in her career. That's badass, dude. It really is. Okay, let's take a look at our friends and see who's in here tonight. Of course, guys, you know who's number one. You know who got here first. I would say 80% of the time, he's the first guy in the house.
There are some who call me
Tim?
That's right. Tim is the first in tonight. And E. Clay Thomas is here as well. And it looks like Real Wade Nation is in as well. Laugh out loud. Don't forget Bill 5462. I don't know what that is, but if it's something political, that's not what we're doing tonight. We don't do politics on Wednesday. And we keep it light on Wednesday because everybody's working hard today. So,
Yeah,
that's how we like it.
the movie is called Immaculate. That's the one she's
Immaculate. Is that the
Yeah,
movie she's in?
That's
Okay.
what it is. Yep.
All right. Yeah. Sydney. We are fans of the Sydney. No doubt. We
Oh,
are
yeah.
fans of the Sydney.
Couple of reasons.
Yeah. For a couple of reasons. No doubt.
Big reasons.
But
I'm not proud of my vulgar ways, but I accept it.
dude, do not. What did Mouse say in The Matrix? To deny our primal instincts is to deny our humanity. Isn't that what he said? Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, I'm with Mouse on that. Okay, sorry, just am. Okay, let me see real quick. I should have had this pulled up already, but I've got to go ahead and get. Where is it? I got to get the box office receipts real fast. Hang on, because we got to start with the. No. We're not starting with that, are we? No, we are going to start with my man's second con he went to. Guys, I haven't been on in a couple of weeks, so it's been 2 weeks since we've been on, and not last weekend, but the weekend before, right? Wasn't that it? Yeah, 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks ago, about 10 days ago, he went to his second con. So what do you got for us, man? This was a bigger con than the first one, right?
It was, yeah. It was a little bit. At least the building was a little bit smaller, seemed like, but yeah, there was definitely a lot more stars at this one than there was the first one, for sure. I got a lot of autographs.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit of an interesting start. These guys can attest, John and Joe, that I was bitching all the morning because when I got there.
Oh God, yeah.
Because it was really they totally screwed up the start of this. When I got there a little early, so there was a line forming, but I was like, I'm not going to get in it. I got there around 11 or so, and it didn't open until 11:30 around there.
Yeah.
I took an Uber over, and it didn't open until 1. Registration didn't start till 1.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need to get my badge, but I was like, yeah, it's like an hour and a half. I'm not waiting in line for an hour and a half. So I went to this little place nearby called Side Chick. It's a little chicken place. It was really good.
Side Chick?
Yes, it's called Side Chick. Little place
great name for a chicken restaurant.
It was the next block over, and so it was a little hole in the wall place, but it was really good. Really good chicken, really good fries. So I ate that for lunch, and then they were playing you could tell they knew that the convention was down because they were playing all Marvel and Disney movies.
Okay.
And Sony movies, TC stuff. So they knew the convention was down, and they were going to get visitors, right?
Right.
So nice little place, eat lunch, and then I went out to get in line. And of course, the line got massive, and I was gone for about 40 minutes or so that I took my time eating. The food took a little bit to get there, so and all that good stuff. So I got in the line, and then of course it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then finally at 1 o'clock they started moving the line, and it took about 20 minutes to get inside the building, initially into the building. And when I got in there was a second line, apparently, for the VIPs, which I didn't know existed because nobody said anything. There was no signage outside. So
yeah.
So I tried to get in that line, but they're like, no, you got to go out the line, and the line went back out the door. I was like, I was just in this line. I got to get in another line? Yeah, you got to get in the VIP line. The VIP line led back outside and around the corner. And apparently there was a different entrance for VIP at this one. There was no signage outside. There was no one walking up and down the line saying, hey, VIP is around the corner, because it was around the corner from the main line.
Yeah.
Zero. The signage went up later that afternoon.
Oh man! After people like yourself were bitched a lot, probably.
Because you get all these things where it's like, oh, make sure you got your tickets out, get your stub ready, and then you fuckers don't even tell me like where I'm supposed to be. What the hell? So I got out of that line, and of course it's so ass backwards that by the time I got back into the building through the VIP line, all the general admission were already done. VIP was still going
Oh man.
because they had one fucker doing the job to check in all the VIPs
Mm-hmm.
and hand out the goodie bags and check with his cell phone or whatever. They had one person doing it where they had 4 lines for the normal registrations
Mm-hmm.
and one little person for fucking VIP. That's how fucking that. Oh god, that definitely left a sour taste in my mouth.
I'm sure.
But Friday wasn't really an important day. Friday was just a scouting mission. It
Mm-hmm.
was just to get kind of caught up with the place. I wasn't really expecting to get much in the way of autographs and things like that. Most of the talent wasn't going to be there until Saturday, Sunday, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So while it was a really shitty way to start, the rest of the weekend went pretty good. And now I know.
Now you know, right?
Now I know. It's like I thought it was so dumb. Cause after that, they put up the fucking signs after I'd already gotten my registration. So dumb on their part that they didn't.
Right.
Not the fact, even if they didn't have the sign, they should have had someone going up and down the line saying VIPs around the corner, VIPs around the, because there was no way to know. If you had never been there before, you wouldn't know.
Yep.
Anyways, okay. So so at 2:00, so you get 1:00 is the registration, 2:00 is when you get your badge, or 2:00 is when they actually open the doors to the exhibit. So this is my pretty much first take in there. Yeah. My first picture in there is, and you can see kind of the lineup here on the left. And I actually didn't even see this when I took the picture, but over here on the left, you can actually see Mr. Giancarlo Esposito. He's actually sitting there behind it. I didn't even realize I got him in the picture. I was just trying to get a general. This was the main corner where most of the bigger artists were. And of course, the line had already formed right here for Ian McDermott. So I ended up actually getting Giancarlo Esposito, and then I went and got in line for Ian McDermott. And I got his autograph too. I was very happy to get that on Friday because Saturday the line was massive.
Now, let me ask you something. Usually when you're getting autographs, you're getting 8x10s. They usually have an assortment of them there. Is that what you're doing?
They did. Yeah, that's what I did. I didn't bring anything to sign. The only thing I brought to sign was the week before at Awesome Con. I brought a book for Claudia Gray to sign.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, Delilah Dawson. She had a Star Wars book that I had recently purchased. But no, you can go get, and depending on if you do the 8x8 or if you do like other items, they usually have an extra $20 or whatever on top of their price for other items.
Right.
So people had them signing like, helmets and, stuff like that. And Funko Pops was a big one. You can go buy a Funko Pop and then have them sign it.
Oh, wow.
And all that good stuff.
Emperor Funko Pop.
Oh yeah. There were a lot of Funko Pops. There were people with carts full of Funko Pops.
Oh my God.
To do all that shit was very annoying, but whatever. So yeah, I didn't do a crazy whole lot on Friday, but I did get that. I also did manage to get a little Brent Spiner. I snuck this
there
one
he
in.
is. There's Data.
I got him.
What's up?
I got him. So I snuck that one in. You're not supposed to take pictures while you're waiting in line and stuff, but I was like, let me sneak this one in there.
Yeah.
So I did get that. And there was a panel. So these are some of the comic writers and book writers for Star Wars.
Okay.
So I went to their little panel that they had. They were doing a little Q&A. And so that was pretty cool. And then, of course, this one I was really looking forward to. I went to a panel with Troy Baker, Mr. Joel himself in Last of Us.
Okay. Very cool.
So I got to do his little Q&A, so that was pretty cool. And then later that night I did the Ian McDermott, or later that day the Ian McDermott panel. So these guys were standing outside, just getting pictures taken.
Right. Yeah, the cosplayers are great, man. They really are. Yeah. Those guys go above and beyond. They do. And there's Ian. He's looking good for his age. Yeah.
So this right here, play this real quick. This is where he's talking about when he does the line, "Do it."
And that's when Palpatine was slightly revealing the Sidious element a bit more than he should. And also we'd shot it several times. And one I just said, "Do it," like that. And George said, "That's the one."
Do it. Yes.
So that's very much all I did on Friday. So Saturday in the morning, I think the guards at the front. So I learned my lesson because when I went home via Uber, it cost me on the Friday night. It cost about $40.
Yeah.
To go 15 minutes because the prime time rates just skyrocket in the city. It was much cheaper during the day when I went. But so I found where the garage was that you could park there for the entire day. Super easy to get into, super easy and it was $8 for the entire
Mhm.
day. So Saturday and Sunday I did that. So there was and they're connected to the center. So this is me crossing, and the guards were a little confused in the morning, so they let me in like an hour early before they were supposed to. So this is me walking in from the parking garage to the main convention center, and so I took a picture down below. And then here's the actual exhibit here. They had like a little lunch area up above, so I took a picture of that so you can see the whole area before anyone has even entered the place.
Right. It's
Because
pretty big.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden it gets really small when everybody gets in there.
Well, I tell you, the Octagon exhibit was a lot bigger than this. Like, it was almost like twice as big as this, as far as the area. I didn't even really go in the vendor section that much. I just didn't have time. And then, of course, this was later on in the day, on Saturday.
Packed.
Just some of these people didn't get it. I don't know what the fuck they did with their day, because clearly they weren't there for autographs or something. I don't know.
Right.
But some of these people didn't get into the building until almost at the evening time.
Yeah. Yeah, because they can only let so many people in the building. It's just like a nightclub. They're keeping track of how many people are in.
Of course,
and
here you see it right here. See this fucking sign right here? Was not there yesterday. Was not, that simple little sign was not here. So that was ridiculous. So that one little sign. So that was fun. Yeah. So this one, I believe. Oh, who was this one? Oh, I think this is the Gina Carlo. So I got her. It took me all day to get her signature, but I finally did. So this is the host or whatever, talking to her. So she was doing that.
Gina Carlo.
Now this video right here is, so there was a ton of support for her. You know the reason I went, because she's got her big Disney thing. They tried not to touch on it too much, but it was just too much of an elephant in the room to not talk about.
Of course.
So the host was basically just like, look, he kind of made a big thing of it. If anyone brought it up, it was really him. But it was like, look, we support you. And then it was basically just a standing ovation in the room.
Yeah.
And so this was her kind of reaction afterwards.
You guys made me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.
We appreciate you. We really do. Yeah, we really do. And,
so it was a really cool moment, but yeah, she definitely felt the love.
She's one of the sweetest people in Hollywood, dude. It's ridiculous. If you've watched, if you guys haven't seen it, go watch the interview the Quartering did with her. She is one of the coolest people ever. She really is.
I won't go too far into that one. This is after, but obviously well after. But this conversation right here, she's talking about Carl Weathers.
Yeah,
who would have been
who had just passed away at the time.
Just passed away. He was set to be at GalaxyCon too, and so that was a tough one. So she talked a little bit about that. So I guess she took some the basic premise of these panels. The host would ask a couple questions, and then he would go into the crowd and ask questions from there. So that's she's looking off to the side. This one I just happened into because I was here for the Mandalorian cast. So Christopher Sabat, he played he was the dub Vegeta in Dragon Ball, so it was kind of cool sitting in on that. But I was there for the next panel, which was this one. Giancarlo Esposito, Katie Sackhoff, Emily Swallow, Paul Sun Lee. I got all of their autographs, so that was really cool.
Wow, dude. You spent a lot of money at this thing.
I spent
You spent way too much money. No doubt.
I got to recuperate for sure. I don't know.
Because look, man, the bottom feeder autographs are going to be at least $25 to $30. That's bottom feeder. I mean, somebody like the guy on the left there, that had to cost you $50. It had to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Katie was
old enough to remember when they didn't charge for autographs.
Right. Yeah. If you brought something to just sign.
But I'm cheap, so I don't pay for autographs now. I'd rather buy them on the secondary market.
Right.
Yeah, I like the one-on-one that you get when getting their signature, but so that was pretty cool. And then, of course, I went to the panel for this guy, Edward James almost from Battlestar Galactica.
And I say to you,
got that real raspy voice.
Who wants to ask more questions? Come in, ask your questions, or where I'm signing in.
He's talking about people coming over and talking to him.
Yeah. He is such a great actor.
I'm here for it. Just say thank you to all of you. And remember, we love you. Bye.
So say we all.
So say we all. That's right, man.
And of course,
Yep.
one of the main reasons I wanted to go was this guy right here, Richard Dean Anderson. This
Mm-hmm.
poor guy was in a 16-hour flight to get here from California. He got stuck over in Texas. He was telling us about that story.
Now, what does he do? Is he a writer?
Well,
MacGyver.
MacGyver,
Oh, he's
bro.
MacGyver. That's it. Yes.
Well, for me, it's Colonel O'Neill from SG-1, Stargate SG-1.
Gotcha.
Stargate SG-1 fan. So I had to get his autograph.
This is all stuff I've never watched. That's why I don't know who this guy is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, you go to other planets in a wormhole.
I know what Stargate is. I've seen the movie.
You know,
I'm a
like,
big fan of the
it's
movie.
sci-fi.
I've just never watched the show. That's all. He's playing the Kurt Russell part, right?
Yeah. Well, he had 2 L's instead of 1 L.
I'm so sorry that it's such a tedious process to get to the front of the line. I can't help it. I mean, I have solutions. They haven't listened to me for like 6 years.
So that was pretty cool. He was the only one. Now this is Katie Sackhoff. I didn't mean to go ahead. On
Duh. We could tell who it is, bro.
Richard Dean Anderson was the only one that wanted the lights on in the panel because everyone else had the lights off, so it was just what's on stage. He didn't want that. He's like, I want to see everybody, so he had them turn on the lights at the panel so he could see everybody and just talk to us. But yeah, I was really surprised to get her. So Gina Carano, I tried all day to get hers, and I couldn't. Every time I went, they cut off the VIP line because she had panels, photos, all that stuff to do.
Jeez.
So I could never get her. So I was like, man. Finally, in the evening, after she had done her panel, that panel that I just showed,
right?
Her line was down a lot. So I went over to her line, got behind this really, really sweet couple, or they were in the regular line, but I still let them go first because they were there. And then I got Gina Carano's, and then I was like, because Katie Sackhoff was full all day too, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't even think I would get hers.
Yep.
But after I did Gina Carano, I went over to Katie Sackhoff's table, and her VIP line was almost empty. I was like, I got to do it. So at that point, that was pretty much what I think that was the last thing I did on that. And then one of the first things I did on Sunday, right? I'm sorry, this is the last thing I did on Saturday, was there was a little Godzilla show going on. So I was like, in honor of John, let me go see some Godzilla. So they showed a little bit clips of it talking about Godzilla and Godzilla through the ages and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. And then I left for the day, and then I came back. Sunday I didn't take a whole lot of pictures, so I'm almost done. But Ron Perlman and Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
You got Hellboy, and then you got Charlie Hunnam's in Rebel Moon. He was the traitor. He was also he had his own King Arthur movie.
Right. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's a good actor. I like him.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool listening to them.
We have allowed the Queen to be.
And so this one, they were answering the question about, I don't know if you've seen Sons of Anarchy, but the Katie Segal, I don't know how you say it.
Yeah, Katie Segal.
So her character in the show, spoiler for anyone listening, you can cover your ears for a second, but it has a really intense moment where she gets raped in the show.
Okay.
And the question is, how did you guys feel about that? And so he's kind of discussing the mentality of these biker men, realizing that their queen got, raped in this manner.
Right.
Truly violated, and we have to live with the emotional distress of that. Even though we're supposed to not be emotional people, we're supposed to always have so much toughness. And it was this amazing exercise in playing these tough guys, these badasses, who were broken by something unspeakable.
Yeah, so this is a little excerpt of that. So
my brain has not been working very well during this panel, and I apologize. This is not a piece of furniture, it's a piece of clothing. But it's the only green piece of clothing that I own, and I didn't know it was President Patty's Day today. It's just a coincidence. So,
there are no coincidences.
Criminal. Not wearing green on protection. Criminal.
So that was pretty much the last thing I did for the weekend. So I think in total I got I did Giancarlo Esposito, Ian McDermott, Gina Carano, Katie Sackhoff, Richard Dean Anderson, Edward James Olmos, Emily Swallow. I talked to Emily Swallow. I was like, it's a shame, she's the armorer in the Mandalorian, and like, it's a shame you never get to see her because she's really gorgeous. And I was telling her that. She's like, oh, that's so sweet. Um, no, so it was really cool. Just and the one I think the one thing I learned in this one, because I didn't get a lot of photo ops in this one. The only photo op I did in this one was with Gina Carano because I'd already met her. I feel like the one thing I learned is photo ops suck unless you get them autographed, because photographs, 2 seconds in and out. There's nothing, you get no time to talk to them. It's just because they have a lot of people to go through for photo ops. So, but when you do the autographs, like Charlie Hunnam, he took forever on his signatures because he put a lot into them when he did them. So his lines took a little longer, but you get to talk to them while they're doing stuff, and get to really get a good minute or two with them to talk and stuff like that. So for me, the autographs were so much more worth it because you actually got to have a one-on-one with them.
Yeah.
With Katie Sackhoff, I got to talk about her podcast a little bit that she does.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, I think that's part of the why she's become so popular on that circuit is that podcast, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's famous because of Starbuck and now Boca Raton.
Right, but what I'm saying is, it has that podcast hasn't hurt that at all. It's did nothing but enhance her persona. Yeah.
So that was definitely the big thing. I definitely plan to go to more cons. It was definitely overall really good experience.
Enjoyable. Yeah.
I think if I kind of went over on top on the autographs this time. So because I know AwesomeCon had a lot more panels that I was interested in. This one didn't have as many panels as far as not panels, but other panels, I should say, not celebrity panels, but like other, like one that I went to was that one I mentioned for AwesomeCon where they were talking about The Last of Us, and they were talking about the science behind it and stuff like that. So there was more things like that at AwesomeCon where it was just things pertaining to sci-fi and all that good stuff, but wasn't necessarily the stars themselves doing the panel. It was just some what do they call them? Subject matter experts.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more of those at AwesomeCon than there was at this one, but and I didn't do any of the gaming stuff. I hardly did any of the vendor stuff because all I had was my backpack, and I didn't want to carry a bunch of heavy shit around.
Yeah.
So really, all I got I got a bunch of comics. I got I'm kind of trying to get a little bit into comics, mostly Star Wars. And then I got some books signed and all that good stuff, and so I got a really nice Star Wars book that I got. And it's a really nice edition that's going to be probably super rare here in the future, but because they're not even making that particular one anymore. So, yeah, right. Not quite. Maybe someday.
We're not that big yet, Clay.
Yeah.
Those of you just listening, he says, "Knock, you got to give him the "Do you know who I am?" line.
Right.
Tell them you're from Joe's Atmosphere, and they will let you right in.
Yeah. I should have went to Katie. I'm like, hey, I'm on a panel too. We should collab. I'm sure that would have been great.
Well, man, I'm glad your first convention experiences were really good. He went to back-to-back conventions.
I did go. I dove face first into this stuff, and it was a costly adventure, but it was so much fun. It was nice doing something that was just for me.
Yeah, that's cool,
just going out and experiencing. I met these 2 weekends were the first time I ever met celebrities, and they didn't disappoint. So. Definitely planning to do more. I have a couple projects of mine that I'd like to get because one of the things I did was Richard Dean Anderson. He signed us a tin that has the symbol for Earth on it that they use in Stargate, and so my plan is to try to get the entire SG1 team to sign it.
There you go.
Over the next couple of years.
Well, you got the head honcho, right? So
yeah, so I got the leader. So now I got to get the rest. I know.
Which means it's at some point. Now wait a minute. Let's see. Didn't Jason Momoa get
it was Stargate Atlantis.
That was Stargate Atlantis, so that's that's different. Yeah, but no, I would definitely like to get his someday.
Yeah.
For something. Because he's always going to be Ronin to me in Stargate Atlantis. That's where I first saw him. That's where he first got his real big time. I think he was also in Baywatch as well. I think that was like his.
Was he on
first one.
Baywatch?
Oh yeah, he's a young buck.
Yeah,
his,
that was
hair,
the first
his hair was
part.
cut and everything. Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to dig out the Baywatch and
Oh yeah.
you know, it's gonna be torture watching those girls and everything. But I think I can do
I
it.
think it was the newer Baywatch with The Rock. I don't think it was like the original Baywatch.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I was making sure.
I wouldn't even consider the one with the Rock in it, even Baywatch myself. No, I'm talking about the Hasselhoff because I always.
No. That's the one I'm referring to. Is the Rock one? He was in the Rock.
Oh,
Baywatch.
he's in the one with the Rock. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I think. Right?
You sure? I thought he was in regular Baywatch.
Was he? You know what? I'm. You know, you could be right. I don't know. I haven't looked into
it
it.
up, and we're not going to worry about it right
Never
now.
going to watch Baywatch. So
we have got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, right. So I definitely would like to get all of SG1 members someday too.
There you go. Well, just make that your mission right now.
That's why I was asking you. I'm sorry, Joe. That's why I was asking you the other day if you were nearby San Antonio, because there's the Space Con in October, and Michael Shanks and Amanda Tapping are going to be there. That'd be 2 of them.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think a trip to
just
Texas.
Keep your ears open.
I don't know
where you're at in the country. There's going to be a lot of cons around you, and they make they do the circuit. They go around. The country.
I was looking at the past circuit with those guys. They never come in the U.S. They're always touring SG1 folks. They always tour in UK.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know when the last. I think the closest they've been. I think Christopher Judge was down in Georgia for Dragon Con. But it's super rare that they're on the East Coast.
All right. Well, I'm glad you had a good time, Johns. I knew you would. I know how you are with crowds, so I thought that might take away from it for you. But yeah, there's nothing like meeting heroes.
They weren't incredibly crowded. I think it helped that I was in the VIP line because I tell you, looking in because whoever set those lines up is ridiculous. Let me see if I can go back to the first one and see if it shows it. But they made the lines like my shoulders are way bigger than the fucking lines that they tried to create.
You're guys. Knock is not a small guy. I'm not talking about he's fat. I mean he's a big dude. He's pretty broad guy. So
let me see. Here we go.
You need some room.
The first picture I show, so you can kind of see it here. Like, look at this guy right here. Like he's just barely standing, like not really trying to spread out.
Yeah, when that's packed, I'm sure it's pretty bad.
So the line going straight ahead is the VIP line, and the other one's the exit line for the other line. And then you have the main, lines there for the people that aren't VIP.
Right.
That snake. It's supposed to snake, but you can't snake like that, man. Like it's just not possible to fit like that. So I was glad to be in the VIP line where it was a straight shot, and I didn't have to be in the middle of those lines that were like that.
Right.
Snake. That would have sucked. Now I'm not claustrophobic in that way. So I mean, I wouldn't have been, horrible. I don't have anxiety attacks, kind of shit.
Right.
Which there were people certainly there that were. No, but like I said, and the cool thing about this is when you get away from the exhibit, it's like, it's a massive convention. So there's 2 buildings. Both of them were in 2 different buildings. You just have to go over a bridge over the road to get to each area. There's so many places to go. Sit down, chill out. Even if you just go into a panel you don't really care about, there's chairs everywhere. So I mean, there's always places to sit down and relax and chill out for a bit. So I don't know. I'd go in snips and try to. I basically tried to see whose line was getting a little shorter. I was like, I'm just not going to stand there all day. They'll eventually close up.
Well, it sounds like you did well being a rookie at it, because that's what most of us do is juggle whose signatures are we going to get this time around. You did well, man. You did.
I think Saturday was I think I had gotten like 5 or 6 Saturday morning. I thought I was killing it.
Yeah,
so
you were.
I think what really helped it was something like getting a major guy like Ian McDermott done on Friday. And that just freed up so much time because his line was massive. And I chose not to go out for Sting because his line was ridiculous. And he was only there for Saturday, and he was only there for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So would have been a huge waste of my time. Ric Flair was also there. I didn't try to do that. That guy, man, he is barely hanging on. I could tell you.
I know.
I did see him.
He's had a rough life, dude. That guy has done everything he can. Look, he did a friggin' match. What was it, a year ago, John? Maybe 2.
Yeah, maybe two.
My God, man. And from what I
crazy.
understand, he passed out twice during that match. I'm like, dude, you're in your 60s. You don't need to be doing this shit. But he just loves it so much. It's not even funny. It's when I see, if you've ever seen the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, that's Ric Flair. I mean, he just will not give it up, dude. He loves it. So, yeah. Okay. Thanks for that report, man. I'm glad you had a good time. I knew you would. I knew you would have a ball, especially with as many Star Wars people was going to be there.
Oh, there were so many. Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
getting
And by the
involved.
way, something that
People that
wasn't
said
on the thumbnail, later on, we're going to do a first reaction to the Acolyte. I know it's been a couple of weeks. You guys have probably talked about it to the nth, but we, as Star Wars fans, have not looked at it yet. So we're going to look at it here pretty soon. But right now, we've got to do the pop culture update, boys and girls. And we start, as we always do, with the box office receipts for this last weekend. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire didn't do as well as Dune out the gate. It did 45 million. That's respectable, I think, in this day and age, the post-COVID box office. But it didn't blow any doors off. Dune ended up second with 17 million. It's still in double digits. Kung Fu Panda is doing really well for a movie that they didn't expect to do that well. An animated show for kids.
I feel I don't agree with that. I feel like they knew exactly what they have with Panda 4.
Yeah.
It's the fourth one. They know what they're getting. It's basically Fast and the Furious at this point. It's like they know they're going to get the core audience to come back and watch it. So I'm not surprised by this one at all.
I didn't think it would do 100 million though domestically. I really didn't.
You're not a kid. This isn't for you.
This is true. This is true.
So
there's not much out there for kids
Fu,
right now.
I mean, there's cartoons for Kung Fu Panda, so there's kids that have grown up with it. So yeah.
Rounding out the top five, it was Immaculate and the dog movie Arthur the King with Wahlberg in it. So that was the box office this weekend. Did either one of you go see Frozen Empire?
Nope.
I didn't either.
I haven't had time.
I'm not a Ghostbuster fan. Like I've watched the first one. That's about it. Like the original first one, but I mean, who hasn't? But it's because it's on TV more than any. It's been on TV.
Well, it was a great movie. Let me tell you something. When that movie came out, it was all the rage. The songs from it were shot all the way to number one. I mean, everybody went to see it. Yeah. It was a huge deal. It was a really big deal. The second one, not so much. I was pretty much done with it after the second one. Now, it had a resurgence on Saturday morning cartoons, believe it or not. That they had a really good animated series of it on Saturday mornings. And from what I understand, I need to get a copy of the Ghostbusters video game. John, was that on 360 or the original Xbox? Do you remember?
I'm thinking it was the original Xbox.
Yeah. But from what I understand, it's better than some of the sequels they've made for this stuff.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, the story in that one's awesome. But
the story is what was supposed to be Ghostbusters 3 if they would have greenlit it.
Okay. I understand. Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm huge fan of the first one. Love it. I quote it all the time. Every time somebody screws up, I go, "What did you do, Ray?" That's the first thing comes out of my mouth, man.
Yes, that's true. That man has no dick.
Right. Yes, that's true. That man has no dick. And that's one reason why I kind of wanted to go see this one, because when you see the trailer for it, Peter Venkman's the guy that's, talking in it, the dickhead's back. Right. Yeah. But, I don't know, man. I didn't go see the last one. I still haven't watched it. It's just not it's not up there for me. I love the first one. The first one I'll watch any day of the week. I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. But then again, that's when Bill Murray and those guys were at the top of their game. And it doesn't hurt that Sigourney Weaver was in it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'm just not. If you're looking for stuff about Frozen Empire, I'm not the guy. I'm really not. I'm going to watch it when it comes on one of the streaming services. I had no intention of going to see it in the theater.
Really I will say, my parents did go last Friday night to see it. And they enjoyed it. Yeah. That's about all I can really say about it.
I think I'd go see Godzilla -1 before I'd go see this. Really, and I'm not planning on going to see the new Godzilla movie either. I mean, I went and saw the last one in the theater. And I mean, then again, it's kind of like Fast and Furious, right? If you don't know what you're going in there for, then you're stepping on yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's a kaiju movie. It's going to be outlandish and crazy, right? But that's just not my bag. Unlike the guy right below me here, he's a big fan. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I told everybody in the thread the other day. I guarantee you, John's got his tickets already.
No, I don't have my tickets already.
Unbelievable, really?
I'm waiting to find out when Allie wants to go.
What a faker.
Unbelievable.
Fake fan.
No. He's in a relationship now. He's got to consider somebody else too. That's the way it goes. Okay, so this week in pop culture, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say I've been hearing that because it actually the early releases were today.
Yeah,
and I've been hearing that it's a lot better than the trailers make out. Okay. There's a lot of stuff going on this week.
Well, I was going to cover something else first, but since we're on it, the early reactions to Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, are calling it an absolute slobber knocker. They say this one is pretty good. I read this article, and you can see this one on Uproxx, and it's getting good word of mouth so far. And what did you hear about it, John?
I heard that there's a lot more kaiju action than all the others combined.
Really?
It's a lot. There's a lot more action. There's less focus on the human story, although the human story's there.
Yeah. Well, you got to have the human component to it.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the problems with the last one is they had too much of that, I think.
Yeah.
I really do. You know what I thought of the last one? It was like the Core and Transformers and another movie I can't remember, just slammed all together. This is what it seemed like to me. But apparently they're expecting good things out of this, guys. We got this out of Deadline. They're saying Godzilla X Kong will bunny hop to $135 million global opening as Legendary's MonsterVerse franchise roars past 200 billion Easter box office preview. They're expecting it to make 135 million on opening weekend domestically. That is crazy, man. No, globally.
It'll probably pull 50 here and 100 plus overseas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they're expecting good things out of it, and me myself, this is not on my list, but I'm going to be paying attention because if it's as good as they say it is, I'm going to have to go. You know what I mean? Because I am a fan. I just, I still want to see -1, and I haven't seen it yet. It's kind of
-1's great.
Yeah, I know that's what I hear, and that sounds like it's my kind of Godzilla movie. You know what I mean? So, but this one here, I don't know, man. Some of the stuff they're showing, like, what's he need a
I think he gets his arm broken. That's what they do. I think that's what he breaks his arm, gets his arm broke by King Scar, and they basically upgrade him.
Yeah,
give him Power Fist.
You think? I don't know. We'll see what happens.
That's my theory, anyway.
Yeah, but that one opens up this Friday, guys. So look forward to that. The last day of the month. We got this story. Hang on one second. Let me pull it up real quick. Scarlett Johansson in talks to lead new Jurassic World movie. The feature is on the fast track as it heads to a July 2nd, 2025 release date. Wow. Really? They're going to have a Scarlett Johansson led
there's a couple of reasons why you want to have ScarJo as your lead.
Yeah, right? Woof. Yikes. Well, there's some people kind of in an uproar about it because, they're not going to have him in it, Chris Pratt. So
yeah,
that's kind of strange. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but what do you guys think of this? I don't know. I haven't gone to see any of the Jurassic World movies except
I've seen them all.
I've seen a couple of them. I haven't watched the latest one that came out, but I mean they're whatever. They're Jurassic Park.
Once again, you know what you're getting into, right?
I was there for the dinosaurs, but the whole laser pointer targeting Raptors was retarded.
Yeah, they're getting way
the
too
R
ridiculous
word.
with these things.
Yeah, they're getting a little crazy with this stuff. I still haven't seen Jurassic World yet, but whatever it is, what was it, Domination or something? I can't remember. Dominion, whatever. You know, I don't know, man. The original one was cool. This is the thing with these franchises, man. That you know, I can't remember who it was that said it, but the original's always the best one, and they get less and less good as it goes along. But I don't know. There's some franchises that aren't like that. The second Star Trek movie is the best one, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's the best one they ever made. But a lot of people love the first one, but I love Wrath of Khan myself. But
before we get too far away from the movies, if you don't mind,
sure.
I did want to mention this because I thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to get. If you could put me in.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Kind of going back to the weekend here, I thought it was worth mentioning this movie. I don't know if you guys have seen this. The American Society of Magical Negroes.
Yes.
Was an interesting movie. I haven't seen it, but it's grossed so far $2 million, even though it's played in over 1,000 theaters.
Oh, yeah.
Only made a total of $2 million. Basically, if anybody hasn't heard of this, basically a movie where it's magical black people that their whole purpose is to make it so, and this is in the trailer. This isn't made up. This is their whole purpose is to make it so white people aren't discomforted.
Yeah. It's a totally racist concept. It's that I wasn't even going to cover it, man. But I'm glad you. I'm
only doing it because of how crazy.
It.
Like, I mean, if you look at it, like, just look at. I've never even heard of this one. One Life has beaten it. You know, this pretty much a late night with the devil. I never even heard of that one.
Yeah,
2 million already. Immaculate. You know, horror movies that we really watch as horror movies anymore. But
right,
the first weekend that was out is already beating it, and just the amount of you got this one, Exuma. It's only played in 67 theaters, and it's made a quarter of what that's made.
Yeah, so it's bad. Like, look, it's opening weekend. It's opening weekend. It only did $1 million, and I gotta. I mean, it's a totally racist concept, man. And I think this just shows that African Americans aren't going to see it either. You know what I mean? Who they made this movie for, I do not know. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's more proof, boys and girls, that you should steer clear, and it looks like people are, from anything that is divisive, boys and girls. Don't forget, if it divides, leave it alone. We don't need it. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I wasn't even going to cover that, Knock, but yeah, since you brought it up, I've seen everything about it. I wish I could find that video really fast. If I'd have known you wanted to talk about it, I would have found it. But there was an interview with, I think it was the writer, director, I think the producer, and David Alan Grier, the star. And he looked so pissed the entire freaking press conference. Did you see this, John? Do you know what I'm talking about? Huh? No? It's hilarious, man. He starts friggin' you can tell he's being really passive aggressive with the guys that are on the production end of it. He was talking about how he couldn't really be himself on set and stuff like that. I mean, he was talking in broad strokes, and these guys, what's funny is I don't even think these guys noticed how pissed he was. You know what I mean? But you could tell by his nonverbal, he was angry to even be there. And he ended up walking out of his own freaking interview. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous, man. So yeah, they made it for themselves. I don't even think the stars enjoyed working on that thing. And E. Clay Thomas says they keep trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip, which that's any franchise. That's what they're doing, of course. I mean, if it wasn't lucrative, they wouldn't keep making the movies, right? So, but yeah, I saw that, Knock, and I just, I'm one of these guys that it's films like that nobody needs to be paying to go see, because it just, I don't know. I'm one of these guys that subscribes to the fact that if you talk about racism, then it continues to be a thing. I'd rather just talk about things, without race involved in it. You know what I mean? And go from there. Because that's how I live my life. I don't worry about if somebody's black or white or Asian or American Indian. I don't care. Do you have good ideas or do you not? You know what I mean?
And is the story good or is it not?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm worried about. I don't care who you're sleeping with. I don't care what color you are. Give me a good story. You're here to entertain me, not to preach to me. Okay.
It's just
if I want to get preached to, I'll go to Bel Air Baptist Church on Sunday. Okay, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, and I think my main reason for bringing it up is just because of how crazy these movies have gotten these days, and we know that if you put out the right thing, right, people are going to go see it. Like look at the two movies that made $1 billion last year, and one that almost made $1 billion. You got Super Mario Bros. Huge audience for that, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty easy. Barbie proved that if women want to see a movie, they'll go
in droves, and they'll go several times,
and they'll take their boyfriends with them.
Yes,
so,
and they'll drag their men with them. Yeah,
and so anything that's like like the Marvels or the all-female cast Ghostbusters, if women wanted to go see these movies, they would have. But these movies aren't. These subject matters aren't necessarily made for women.
Right.
The majority of that scene, Star Wars used to be niche, and it's become more mainstream, but it's still, still guys that mainly are the fans of it, right? And I'm not saying there's no women that enjoy Star Wars. That's completely false. Yes. Completely false.
Absolutely.
But if you make a good story, if you make a good movie, and if you keep it closer to the source material, who it's meant for, and not try to change it. And we're going to discuss this a little bit more when we talk about Acolyte, but Acolyte's being, they brought in people that don't even watch Star Wars. Now, I did hear their reasoning behind it, why the director of Acolyte, the one that directed the first couple shows, did that, because they wanted to have more of a storytelling background rather than getting too close to the source material. So I can kind of see what they were going with that, but still, like, I think especially when you're doing something like Star Wars that people are like so passionate about, you just can't be coming from a place where like, I want to change it from what George Lucas had. No, because that's what we fell in love with. Like, why are you changing what we love?
It's not only that. It's think broader strokes, man. Make a good story. Tell us a good story. I don't care what you're thinking is. Tell me a good story, because I guarantee you that people are passionate about several things. Look, guys, I like Star Trek. I like Star Wars. But if I'm a big fan of anything, any of these franchises, it's James Bond. That's my guy. I love him. I always wanted to be him growing up. I watched all his movies growing up. And, when they do a bad one, like the last one, I'm the first one to say, hey, you screwed that up. I mean, John's got his friggin' Rise of Skywalker. It's called Godzilla 1998. And he never brings that show up because it's not Godzilla. Right, John? Am I wrong about this? I mean, tell us a good story. And you should. I love the name of Ripa's podcast he does every day. It's For Canon's Sake. If you're going to make rules in a franchise, you got to stick to them. And that's one of the biggest problems people have with some of the stuff they've done in Star Wars, some of the stuff they've done with Godzilla, some of the stuff they've done with James Bond. You're not sticking to your canon. You're not sticking to it. You're changing it. And when you do that, you fracture it. And it's hard as hell to fix once you've done that. Now, Godzilla has bounced back. James Bond will bounce back from this. I guarantee he will. Star Wars will bounce back from it too. But it's going to take guys that are passionate about the material, the source material. Guys that walked into a Star Wars when it was, we're getting a little old now, but somebody that walked into that theater when it was called Star Wars, not A New Hope, and go from there and tell a great story about it.
And not so caught up in trying to send their own ideas into it as far as their own message into it. And that's more important than the actual life of that Star Wars.
I mean, how many times have we seen that interview with Peter Jackson where he says, we didn't want to put our own thoughts and feelings into the story. We just wanted to put out there what J.R.R. Tolkien had done, talking about the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the original. God.
You know what you get when you do a one now? You get Rings of Power.
Right. Yeah. Because we need a girl boss and all this other stuff. Okay, whatever. No hero's journey. We don't need any of that. What?
It's not even like, and it sucks because unfortunately nowadays, especially, it's harder to do a female lead because now it's just considered, pandering.
Yep.
But I mean, it's not like there was never been female leads. It's not. But the problem that they have now is that these female, and we've discussed this a million times before, so it's kind of regurgitating what we said. The problem is characters like Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel, where there's no flaws.
Yeah.
They're all powerful. They're all powerful. They're super smart. The men look like idiots. Samuel L. Jackson is reduced to a punchline.
Yep.
And that's all the men are in these shows now. They're just stupid.
Yep.
And they're useless. And women have all the power. Like there's no equality there. There's nothing for the women to really overcome in their own character. It's just what they have to overcome in the story that was created for them to overcome because they're so strong.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. The newest one was Madam Web, and that one right there, even the stars of it are making fun of it. I mean, Sydney Sweeney went on friggin' Saturday Night Live was making fun of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, man. Let's see. Gridiron Master says Star Wars ain't bouncing back from the grasp of corporate capture. Fans need to take the essence of Star Wars and put it into new IPs. The legal entity of Star Wars is dramatically and thematically dead. Yeah, at this point, I can see where you're coming from, Gridiron Masters, but I'm one of these guys. I've seen franchises go through lulls before and come back. Surely James Bond has had a couple of times when everybody thought that franchise was dead. I think
Marvel was dead.
Yeah. I mean, when George Lazenby showed up as on Her Majesty's Secret Service, that movie didn't do well, and they decided to bring Sean Connery back, even though everybody knew he was too old to play the part for Diamonds Are Forever. You know what I mean? These franchises go through these things. I think the last one really was the end of the Brosnan era, when they decided they had gone way too far with the CGI aspect of it and everything, the toys and things, and they needed to get back to the toughness of like an early Roger Moore and the entire run of Sean Connery was. They wanted to get back to that, so that's when they made Casino Royale, and everybody loved Casino Royale when it came out because it got back to real stunts, real tough guy stuff, and little did we know, though, Daniel Craig was going to have way too much to do with that franchise and turned it into a soap opera, basically, by the end of the run. But it started off on a strong note. I mean, Casino Royale, that was made. They went back to the source material. They made it about the first James Bond novel. They rebooted the franchise, and it was a fantastic start. They went off the rails after that, but it can be brought back, Gridiron. I'm not. I don't think it's dead forever.
Especially when you find the right thing and that makes a lot of money, they'll keep going that way.
Yeah.
Eclay
says Hollywood is different now. I don't know if it can come back. I'm telling you, it can. I've seen it happen too many times. I've seen too many of these things bounce back. Yeah. Just look at the ebbs and flows in Star Trek. I mean, what's the old joke, John? We don't talk about odd numbers Star Trek. Isn't that what it is?
No, the only good ones are the odd numbers.
The only good ones are the odd numbers?
No, the even numbers. Yeah.
No, we don't talk about the odd numbers. The only ones are the even numbers. Yes, that's it. Yeah. I mean, that's had so many ups and downs. But, I mean, if they just go back to the source material, and I hear what you're saying in the chat, Hollywood's different now and all this stuff, but guess what? The pendulum's swinging back, guys. I'm telling you. We're going to be talking about X-Men here in a minute, and we know that the showrunner for that has already been fired because of some of his extracurriculars. But I've got my opinions about it. We'll talk about it when we get there. But I'm sorry, Knock, you were in the middle of saying something, and I stepped on you. What were you saying?
Oh, I don't even remember. I
don't even remember. Okay, but anyway, basically, we can all agree we want good stories. I don't give a shit what your politics or your gender politics or whatever the hell politics you want to talk is, or just give me a good story.
And here's the novel idea. Instead of trying to take what we love and change it, why don't you come up with new stories?
Oh, shit.
It's a crazy concept, I know, but stop trying to take things we love and change it to what you have and try to ride the coattails of their success. And then, but and if you make your own thing and it sucks, maybe you're just not good at it. I mean,
exactly. Let me tell you something, man. One of the reasons why I'm not in a hurry to go see Ghostbusters, take a look at the poster. How many guys have proton packs now? Used to be just 4 guys. Now it's like they're bordering on 10 people running around zapping these things. I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. Yikes. That's kicking my ass. Anyway, let's get done with the update real quick, guys. We've got this story. Pierce Brosnan weighed in on the guy that it's not a for sure thing yet, but they're where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Aaron Taylor Johnson is pretty much been named the next James Bond, and Pierce Brosnan weighed in on his possible run and says that this casting for James Bond, I think the man has the chops. If you read this article at Deadline, it's him talking about whether he thinks Aaron Taylor Johnson can do it. I think he can. I think once again they've got to get back to doing the tough guy James Bond thing, because at the core of the story, he is a tough dude who will do anything. He's the British bulldog. He's the guy that gets it done. He's kind of like the Dirty Harry, of the intelligence agencies, right? Every dirty job, he's the guy that gets there and does it, right? Yeah, I'm looking. I hope this guy does it. I think he's got the look. I love him as an actor. If you guys didn't see Tenet, I think that's one of my favorite parts he ever did, because he's sitting there talking like he almost sounds Australian in that movie, and he's great in it. I loved him in Tenet. But thoughts on Aaron Taylor Johnson playing the ultimate spy, James Bond? What do you think? Knock, start with you. You're not a big James Bond fan.
No, I'm not a James Bond. I'm not a James Bond fan. I'm sure it's a series that I'll watch someday when I'm retired or something. I don't know. I will watch this if the other rumor is true and Sydney Sweeney is going to be a Bond girl. So that will get me immediately interested in this movie if that happens. So
of course,
there's a rumor. So take it as you will.
That's right. John, what do you think of Aaron Taylor Johnson playing this part?
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a fan. I'm actually looking forward to his Craven movie.
Yes, I am too.
That's going to be well.
Too.
Is he Craven or is he?
Yes, he's Craven.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Craven the Hunter.
I don't know anything about Craven, so this is going to be all new to me. I don't read comics, so it's going to be a whole new story to me.
I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. I'm absolutely planning to go see it in the theaters for sure.
I don't know how they're going to tweak the story, but seeing the trailer, it looks like it's staying pretty close to his background. What do you think, John? I mean, he was the son of a rather rich guy, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm hyped for it. I think it's going to be really good, but the only thing I think is going to drag it down is the 2 previous movies and how badly they've done. You know what I mean? Excuse me, the 2 previous new movies. Now Venom did fine, but the Morbius movie didn't do well. Even though I liked Morbius, it's not
I didn't mind it.
Canon. It's not canon accurate, but I did enjoy it. I really like the actor that plays him. I thought they did a really the visuals. He looked just like the character in the comic book. I thought that was tough as nails. But this, from what I've seen in the trailers, I'm looking forward to the friggin' Craven movie. I really
right after that, you got Venom 3.
Yeah, Venom 3's coming out this year too. Yep, absolutely. They're going to keep going with. Look, Sony is going to pull every nickel they can out of Spider-Man. Yeah, they're definitely going to do that. But yeah, I'm with you, John. I'm looking forward to the Craven movie myself. Let's see. This one kind of flew under the radar for me. I don't know if you guys saw this story right here, but apparently, Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman and other EPs prevail over AMC's attempt to kill 200 million profit suit. Now, what they're talking about here, it says, with a heavy emphasis on the $200 million settlement AMC suddenly made in 2021 at the end of X Walking Dead showrunner Frank Darabont and CAA's nearly 10-year-long lawsuit over profits, U.S. District Judge Fernando Anel Roca yesterday denied the outlet's move to have Kirkman, Hurd, David Alpert, Charles Eagly, and Glenn Marza's Mega Millions case dismissed. So this is going to go forward. Apparently, AMC owes them some money, it looks like, guys. And they haven't paid up. So I didn't know if you guys had seen this. I saw it early this morning on our good friend Culture Casino's daily thing that he does. And wow, man. Is AMC like Disney? They don't want to pay their people. What's the deal with that? I don't know what that is. Gridiron Master says there used to be a level of craft, even if stories had a stance. Now that so many writers are incompetent hacks, there's nothing but propaganda left. Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. When it comes to storytelling, I think you're right. I think the masters have left the business, really. I don't think that. I mean, what's the guy's name that's doing everything for Paramount? And I love everything he does, man. The guy, everything he touches turns to gold. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about, John?
Oh,
he does,
Paramount.
Yeah, he writes Yellowstone. He does. Taylor Sheridan. Sheridan, that guy right there. Doesn't he? Didn't he have something to do with Sons of Anarchy too? Or am I thinking about a different one?
I don't think he did.
Yeah. He acted on one of these shows that I think was on, and he really did himself well. My favorite thing he's ever done, if you guys have never seen Wind River, dude, watch that movie. It's got Hawkeye in it. What the hell is his name? Oh gosh, he hasn't been around in so long. The guy that almost killed himself with a snowcat. Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner is in it, and if you've never seen it, man, actually, I thought it was kind of funny because Jeremy Renner plays a tracker in it, and Elizabeth Olsen, who played the Scarlet Witch, right? She plays an FBI agent in it, and it has to do with a murder. It's an investigation into a murder of a Native American in I can't remember what state it is, but it's someplace really, 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 really rural and up in the mountains in the cold. And if you've never seen that movie, Taylor Sheridan wrote it, and it's fantastic. David Carradine, he hung himself while playing with himself. Okay, where's that? Dude, Tim, you're just out of left field trying to blow stuff up, aren't you? What the heck is that all about?
That's
what are
where
you doing? He's over there blowing shit up. What'd you say, John?
Wyoming is where Wind River takes place.
Wyoming, yeah. Have you seen it?
Once, yeah.
Dude, that movie is fantastic. Knock, have you seen that movie?
Never heard of it.
Dude, check it out. I'm telling you, you will love it. It is really, really good. It's got kind of a not quite a the FBI agent played by Elizabeth Olsen has got kind of a Silence of the Lambs feel to it, right? But Jeremy Renner's character is tough in it, and it's in a place where there's no backup, man. They're in a place where they're not going to get help from anybody. You know what I mean? It takes place on an Indian reservation and stuff. It's really good. But yeah, I'm sorry, I got off on a Taylor Sheridan tangent there. The last one I want to talk about tonight is this one here. Apparently, there is an AI model that's making 10,000 euros a month. These guys have a fashion business. It's the headline is AI model Atana, who earns $1.6 million yen per month, has appeared a popular model who also receives date invitations from celebrities. This is a completely AI character, and it's a Spanish AI model and earns up to 10,000 euros per month. These guys, they weren't having much business on a fashion business they were running, so they decided to create an AI model, and they're making tons of bread now. This is crazy. It's an AI, completely computer generated model that's modeling their stuff. It's getting weirder and weirder out there, boys and girls. What do you think?
It's just natural progression.
I told you when we were talking about it before the show started. I'm not a fan of these AI generated things, especially when they do AI enhanced celebrities. And my example to you was I don't need to see Jenna Ortega with big boobs. That's just not.
Yeah, exactly. That makes no sense to me.
She's awesome as she is. I don't need it's just dumb. It's just creepy and it's dumb. And this is getting into a whole nerddom that I've stayed away from my whole life, and the hentai and shit like that. And I don't need that.
I don't either. And it's just I just saw that story and I was like, man, God, people will buy anything.
Especially when you got women like Sydney Sweeney out there.
I don't know, but right. When the real thing is fantastic. Hell, the real Jenna Ortega is priceless, man. She's gorgeous. Not everybody has to be built like Sydney Sweeney, right? I just think it's funny that these people actually think these pictures are real. Who was it? Was that Matt or you that put that thing in the thread about the Miami Dolphins flavored Oreos with the?
Oh, that was me. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I just saw a picture of it.
That is completely AI generated. You can tell. You can tell these things are AI generated, man. And you know what's funny? I about fell out of my chair today getting ready for the show. They have a new option when you're setting up shows. You can either use a thumbnail you created, which I create all my thumbnails, boys and girls. It takes me about, I don't know, half an hour on my little an app I use on my phone called Art Studio. I just copy and paste a bunch of stuff together, right? But there's a new option on StreamYard, right here on StreamYard, that the software I'm using to bring this show to you tonight, where I can have StreamYard's AI create me a thumbnail. I about fell out of my chair when I saw that shit. I was like, what in the hell? Let's see. You could get a computer virus from dating her, I bet. That's great, Tim. Do you clean under your thumbnails, Joe? Yeah, I do. You have to clean them up. After 2 years of doing this, my computer would be totally infested with them. You know what I mean? Got to clean them up. Yeah, I know what you're saying. That's a pretty good one. That's a dad joke. That's nearing dad joke territory right there. That really is. But anyway, okay. That is all I've got for the pop culture update. The first thing I wanted to talk about tonight was the X-Men. Now, my panel has not seen this, so I'm going to have to do this spoiler free because I know how at least one of my panel is about spoilers. He hates them. But the X-Men dropped last week, and like I said, we've been off for 2 weeks, so we're kind of catching up here. But the X-Men 97 has dropped. It's into its third episode. I think they drop on Fridays. I'm not sure.
No, they dropped today.
Did it drop today? Well, I watched the third one today. Looks like they dropped the first 2 episodes a week ago, and then this week they just dropped the third episode. I'm enjoying it, guys. I got to tell you, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but here's how all the stuff we've been talking about has lowered the bar. Okay, the animation's good. I'm enjoying that. It looks a lot like the previous show. I think, Knock, you said that you're watching the original right now. You're going through that before you watch this one.
Yeah.
And this looks a lot like it. The animation definitely looks a lot like it. Now, in the third episode this week, though, I can tell you this. These guys are influenced by anime quite a bit. There was some borderline tentacle craziness in this latest episode, but broad strokes, I think it's going to be good. It's everybody was worried about the gender stuff and all this other stuff. It's really not here, guys. It's not here. At least 3 episodes in. Now, there are some things in it that make me question whether or not they know what these guys' powers do, because they do have a clip, and I'm sure you've seen it. It's in the trailer for the damn thing. They have a clip where Gambit actually energizes Wolverine's claws. Okay. And they're attacking a sentinel. Now, I don't know if you know how Gambit's power works, but he basically energized something to blow it to pieces. And I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, okay, you're going to blow Wolverine to pieces, his entire skeleton? What's going on here? I thought that was kind of dumb. But little things like that's about all I'm seeing in it. It's actually pretty good. The one thing I do dig about it is Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men in it, the team anyway. I mean, you'll have to watch and see what's going on with who runs the school and all that stuff. But he's the leader of the team. That's for sure. Unlike the movies where they pretty much made him an afterthought. We all know that the X-Men movies made by Fox was really heavily influenced in, the love people have for Wolverine. Right. And so it's really a refreshing thing to see, more like the comic books, Cyclops is running the show. I thought we would have energized a bunny. Jeez. I do want to touch on this though. Okay. There was a big stink made about this right here. Okay. They were talking about how Rogue's butt had disappeared, right? This is the one over here is a shot from
I just watched that episode.
The original episode. Yeah. And she's fine as hell in it. And then we've got this one over here. But guys, I've got to tell you, yeah, exactly. Nobody would say different, right? But what's funny is they got a friggin' magnifying glass out to find this, because if you see the entire picture, and I should have pulled up a picture of it, it's like the size of my thumbnail on my screen on my 55-inch TV in the living room. There's 3 huge sentinels surrounding the entire team in that shot, and they're small on the ground. You know how tall sentinels are, right? I was like, wow, that's what they were bitching about? That little thing right there, because she looks good. I mean, all the artwork, the girls look gorgeous in the show.
You actually watch, and I've been watching the animation as it is now in the new show, and most of her scenes, it's a whatever, backside, that scene was more pronounced when they show her like laying down, being a little bit more seductive. Yeah, they pronounce a little bit more.
Yeah.
But if you watch the animation, even the older animations, like they don't explode it like they do in that kind of shot. Like, it looked closer to the right one in most of the scenes she's in, when she's just walking away or something like that, because it's just not as pronounced.
I just thought it was funny when I actually sat down and watched the first episode of it last week, because there were several channels on YouTube talking about how Rogue's ass had disappeared. I'm like, guys, when I saw it, I was like, really? That's what they friggin'. Sometimes I think our corner of the internet goes overboard with some stuff. I know Knock tends to hear that quite a bit too. He sees that quite a bit too. But this is the first time I've ever sat there and gone, wait a minute, guys, really? You had to pull that out? I mean, you would have had to. You'll see what I'm talking about when you see it, guys. You would have had to pull out a magnifying glass just to get that shot. Eclay says, wouldn't you want a woman you can never touch to be unattractive? Yeah, that would save you, right? Yeah, if she was an ugly duckling or something like that, yeah, you wouldn't want to touch her for sure. But I think you guys will enjoy it. Go ahead.
Here you go, just for science.
Mm-hmm.
Just pull this up real quick.
Okay, sure.
There you go. There you go. Right there.
There it is. Yeah, I think that kind of messed up her butt in that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like this is
that's the original series.
This original series. Yeah, this is season 1. Like, and this is how it is for most of her shots too. Like, yeah. Are there times where, like, in that one scene where it was more pronounced? Yeah, but the majority of the time, this is it. Like, there's not a whole lot there in this particular shot.
Yeah.
You know. So
I just thought that was funny as hell to me.
Yeah.
That they made a big stink about that right there, but when you see it, I mean, even if you're watching it on a big screen, that character is super small on the screen. You know, she's surrounded by a bunch of big stuff. Just for science, let's pull this up. This is the family show knock. Damn it, son. Oh man.
I just had to make a point because I did notice it. I was like, because I was looking through it as because I'm rewatching this. I'm on season 2 now, and I'm rewatching. I was like, even in certain parts, you know, it's not as pronounced as it was in that one shot that they took.
Right.
To reference.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, on the whole, so far, I'm liking it. And they're dealing with one of my favorite storylines. It's the Inferno storyline from the comic books. I bought every issue of that. I thought it was great. I don't remember. After watching the third episode of it, I don't remember if it's comic book accurate or not. But you know, you'll see it and check it out. It's been good so far. The things we were worried about, the message and all that stuff, it's not here, guys. It's not here at all. As a matter of fact, I think you're going to be impressed with what they do with Magneto in this show. It's no surprise, you know, in the actual trailer, they actually show him taking over the school, and you're going to be. It's interesting what goes on with his character, man. It is really good. It's really good. It's funny. I was worried about this because of what we heard about the showrunner. You know, remember I'm pretty sure we covered it the last show that he was fired right when it was fixing to be released, and we were speculating that, you know, he must have done something really bad. You know, made some really bad pictures. You know, not for children kind of thing. There was speculation he had an OnlyFans and whatever, and he was an openly homosexual African American, and complete with bare-chested pictures to match. You could look him up right now on the internet. He had plenty of them, but you know, with that kind of a showrunner, I thought we were going to get the message and everything, and it's just not here. I don't see it. Maybe it's subtle, and I'm too old to recognize it, but I just don't see it in this. Let's see. I bet you just read Playboy for the articles. No, sir. No, sir. As a matter of fact, one of my schoolmates, every time I spent the night over his house, I was drawing the pictures in that book, okay, for him. So, yeah.
You know,
I got a lot of practice with the female body drawing it when I was a kid.
Have you ever seen the docu show of Hugh Hefner? I think it came out on like Hulu.
Dude, Hugh's one of my heroes, man. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff.
It was a super awesome. It was one that came out a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the whole thing. It was like half, because they would reference videos that he, like, talk shows he was in and stuff like that, and then they would do part acting. Someone was acting the part of him, and they went back and forth on that one.
Yeah,
and it, man, I mean, when Playboy first came out, it was more about articles.
Yes,
it was a men's magazine.
America, the United States, was introduced to James Bond through Playboy magazine. That he would print excerpts from Ian Fleming's novel in the book. And I remember my dad collected those books, and I'd see him in there all the time. Of course, you know, I was always, you know, checking out Dad's stash. You know what I mean, when he wasn't around. But yeah. It was. I mean, if you got the Playboy interview, that was the hottest ticket in town. That was the most popular person on the planet.
This is when John tunes in. Okay, got it.
Yeah, of course. Right. Yeah, we're talking.
Sorry, Allie just came home and I haven't seen her for a couple of days. So
that's cool, man. That's cool. But yeah, I mean, look, guys. I know it's hard for people, especially younger people, to understand this. This would have, I quote Sam Kinison, who in his first stand-up, Hugh Hefner was sitting front row at the special he was doing, he looked straight at me. He said, "Thank God for you, pal. Thank God for you. This would have been a totally different planet without you." It was so funny, man.
And hearing Hugh Hefner talk, he would always go on about the block. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's somebody else.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Sorry, that's J-Lo. I'm sorry, different block.
But,
Got it. Sorry, my bad.
Right. But yeah, man, friggin' dude, that guy, he was, wow. He started a revolution, and it was, and it was something we needed at the time. He was trying to tell people, hey, in kind of a darker time in the '60s, hey, let's lighten up. Let's have fun. He was a voice of reason, believe it or not. He wasn't a smut peddler, even though he had a definite lifestyle. He was not going to get married to anybody. He was just going to have relationships with women. That's all it was. He had 2 and 3 girlfriends at a time sometimes, That's just
Larry
the way
Flint
he was.
A smut peddler.
Yeah, right. yeah, Flint. No doubt. He's a smut peddler, no doubt. I love watching old Playboy After Dark. Yes, are you kidding me? He ran with the Rat Pack, man. Sinatra and all them fools. I think Sammy Davis is the one that Junior was the one that hung out there the most. Yeah, dude, Hugh. Yeah, it's a shame to see what's happened with that book. I mean, well, first of all, they don't print it anymore. It's an online magazine now. But yeah,
I didn't know it still existed.
It's still
shut down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's an app you can download. They do videos.
It's like Game Informer. Well,
yeah,
Game
that's what it
print.
is. It's nowhere near.
Most of the time, most of the time
it's nowhere near as influential as it once was, and kind of like Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone's going the same way. Those two magazines, Playboy and Rolling Stone. If you got interviewed in those magazines, that was the biggest thing. You had reached the pinnacle. Barring getting an Academy Award, that's probably the highest an actor or a musician could go, is being interviewed by those two magazines back in the 60s and 70s, even into the 80s, I'd say. I think they started to drop off around the 90s. But boy, I tell you what, I'd have to hit eBay and take a look at some of these older issues. But boy, they're worth money. I can tell you that. Especially some of the well-known covers,
like the first one's worth a lot of money.
Isn't Marilyn on the cover of the
Yep.
first one? Yeah.
Yep.
Marilyn Monroe's on the cover of the first Playboy magazine. Yep. Absolutely. Okay. We're coming down to it, and there's a couple more things I wanted to cover tonight. So let's go ahead and get into these. Have either one of you seen the Roadhouse movie yet? The remake of Roadhouse. Have you seen this yet?
I am not watching it on grounds that they shouldn't have made it.
Well, absolutely. That's same thing with me with Point Break. I still have never seen Point Break. I think you can't remake perfection.
All right, by request.
Yes, there she is. Hang on. Say hi. Good to see you. What's up, young lady?
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Says,
whoa! What kind of tats we going with here? What kind of tats we got?
She's working on a sleeve there, man.
Oh,
is it a butterfly?
So I've got an owl with a rose, a skull with a bunch of mushrooms and shit.
Wow! Check you out. You go, young lady. You go. I like the Bucky shirt.
And the Bucky shirt, yeah.
Awesome.
We're actually getting a Bucky's about an hour west of us in Virginia.
They're talking about your Bucky shirt now.
Oh, well.
Yeah. She can't hear us, so we're not going to put her on the spot.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Tell her we said hi, and we love her, and can't wait to see her get on a stream with you sometime. Yeah, tell her that. Anyway, I know. We'll see in a second, John. Have you watched it, Knock? Have you seen it?
No, I mean, I never watched the first one, so I mean, I just kind of. I might watch it because it's Jake Gyllenhaal, but it's also Netflix, and I really haven't cared for much.
It's not Netflix; it's Prime, dude. This is
the Prime.
Straight to Prime. Yeah,
not that much better, but it's
well. Well, I have seen it, and I highly recommend the first Roadhouse. I think we put that on the knock list for you.
No,
No?
I don't really plan on watching it. My parents watch it all the time, but I don't know.
So you've seen bits and pieces of it, I take it.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces.
Right.
It's that bar scene. It's just not me.
Yeah.
It's just not something I care for.
Well, okay. Now, myself, I was a bartender for 18
right,
years,
yeah,
so I'm really into
I understand.
it.
I understand for you.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not for me. I'm not really a bar guy.
Kind of like the Point Break movie. Point Break, the original was surfers, right? And this and in the Point Break remake, it was ex-sports guys, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
I didn't watch it. So
and that's kind of the problem with this one, John. That's what I'm getting at. That's the parallel I'm putting here. The first Roadhouse, there was some philosophy behind the character. He was a philosophy major in college, and he had a degree in philosophy, and he had that older mentor character in Sam Elliott. Both of these things are completely gone in this iteration of Roadhouse. As a matter of fact, I would call him more like John Wayne's The Quiet Man, a guy that had killed somebody in a fight in the UFC and didn't want to do that ever again, that kind of thing. But he was still making money being a fighter when we meet him in the movie. And he wasn't, unlike the first one, Patrick Swayze's character, that's how he made his living. He went from bar to bar cleaning up town. He was like a U.S. Marshal kind of in an old Western. He would go from bar to bar cleaning up the town, and then he'd go to the next job, right? This one, he gets talked into being a cooler at a bar, pretty much. It's not his main way of making money. I will say this. I understand why Prime didn't want to give it a theatrical release. It didn't need one. It's a good action movie, but it's not near as good as the first movie. It's not near as good as that. And they go a little bit over the top in how they photograph some of the fight scenes in it. At one point, it's damn near like you're watching Hardcore Henry, if you guys have seen that movie. It's straight up point of view from Gyllenhaal's perspective of Conor McGregor kicking his ass. It's just, whoa, come on. This is an assault on the senses kind of thing. They went a little overboard with some of the photography in it. But all in all, it's a good action movie. It's all right. I mean,
the first movie, Patrick Swayze's character had a lot in common with like a wandering samurai.
Exactly. That's not this guy. That's not this guy. That's not this guy at all. He's just an old UFC fighter. Now I got to give it to Gyllenhaal.
You're not that guy.
He was all in with the training. In this movie. He got ripped for this show. He really did. And I did dig Conor McGregor in it. I did dig him in it. Let me find that picture of Conor McGregor that I love from this movie. Where is it? Let me go a little smaller. Maybe I can find it here. Yeah, there it is. God, man. Yeah. I'm a fan of Conor McGregor. I think he's cool. I really do. Let me see. Go back. Okay. Guess I'm just gonna have to blow this up. Yeah. That's in the final fight scene right there at a beach bar. And yeah, he's not acting in this movie, which he shouldn't. He's just being himself. You remember in the original, the bad guy had a strong guy, right? And that's him. They had the scene where he walks into the nightclub and starts breaking the place up and everything, just like the other one. And instead of a pool cue, he's swinging a driver when he comes in there with a friggin' golf driver on his shoulder, Yeah. But it doesn't have the spiritual, how do I put this? The spiritual component is not there in this one. It's more like, the guy that gets pushed too far. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he decides to take revenge. That's basically what this is. John Wayne Bobbitt stars in The Quiet Man. Stop it, man. You sick bastard.
Question is, does it translate the most unrealistic thing in the universe into this movie?
the most unrealistic thing in the universe into this.
Yeah,
movie.
the ability to pull up and find four matching tires that match with matching
rims. Like Swayze did, because Swayze pulled off the unthinkable. Yes, he did. Yes,
just,
4
they
matching
all
tires.
match
Complete with rims. Yes.
Yeah, the rims and tires all match your bolt pattern.
Yep, I didn't know where you were going with that, but yeah. Remember that the first one? It was funny as hell, man. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the first one. The speech isn't there either. I mean, the closest thing we get to the speech you get in the trailer, where he tells the kid, he's got a knife. All you got to do is step back and punch him really hard in the face. That's all you got to do when he pulls the knife out, and he does it, and he decks the guy, right? That's the closest thing you get to that speech. That's it. I mean, but it's an okay action movie, but there's some guys that are wasted in it. I can tell you that. There's one actor. Hang on, let me pull up the IMDb page for it real quick. There is a
By the
guy.
way, while you're looking that up,
go ahead.
P. Diddy running away out of the country. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I wasn't going to
hurt.
cover that here because it has to do with sex trafficking. I thought that was a little heavy for this show.
Well, it's pop culture, but
it is pop culture because
he's in that. He did a video in that awesome Godzilla movie too.
Did he? You're kidding me.
Yeah, John's favorite Godzilla movie. He did a music video.
Did he do a music video for that?
Yeah,
You're kidding me.
Huge. It was huge.
I don't know. I was so ashamed of Jimmy Page for doing that.
Doing that? Yeah, I hear you.
It was like P. Diddy did a Godzilla movie. It was a very like Godzilla like the end credits was him playing the song and everything, and he did a music video where he was like in the area that Godzilla attacked or whatever while it was going on and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a big thing. I remember the music video.
Well, look, the cast for Roadhouse. First of all, the bad guy is shit. The bad guy's horrible in this movie. He's a friggin' .com punk. That's what he comes off like. He comes off just like the guy in The Beekeeper, John. Have you seen The Beekeeper yet?
No, I haven't.
I'm
watch any John Strader movie ever, and you'll see The Beekeeper.
Okay.
John Strader has one movie.
I love The Beekeeper, but anyway, that's just me. I thought Jessica Williams was pretty good as the bar owner. I thought she was good. But this guy was wasted completely. What's his Joaquim de Almeida? He's been in a bunch of stuff, and I always remember him from Clear and Present Danger. He's the spy who gets all the information, in that for the cartels. He's the guy that working for the cartels that gets all the information. And he's a really good actor, but he's wasted in this movie. It really is. Post Malone's in it. Yeah, he's in the opening bar scene where he won't fight Jake Gyllenhaal's character because he recognizes him, even though he's been dominating the ring. It pales in comparison compared to the first one. I mean, if you're bored and you've got nothing better to do, go ahead and watch it. It's decent. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I am a fan of that guy. I think he's a really good actor, but they must have thrown a lot of money at him to be in it because this is way below his capabilities. If you understand what I'm saying, as far as an actor, it's really subpar for him. The subject matter and everything. So, but yeah, it's on Prime. You can check it out if you want to, but I wouldn't get a Prime membership just to watch it. That's for sure. Go watch the original. Go rent the original. Spend money on the original because it's
the original.
Buy the original. I have my own copy of Roadhouse, and I watch it at least once a year. However, I will never show it to the clients again at the place where I work because, wow, I forgot how much. Look, as we've said several times, we don't fear the male gaze around here. It's all over the place in the original Roadhouse. If you're into that kind of thing, check out the original Roadhouse. There's plenty of it. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, boys and girls, we're getting close to the end here, but we definitely want to, this being a Star Wars fan channel, we all know that this show leans to Star Wars at some point. Knox tried to get into this a couple of times, but I wanted to wait till the end of the show to do it. We're going to do, I haven't seen this yet, so let's check this out. It is the trailer for The Acolyte. Let me do my magic real fast and get this set up. Yeah.
Now, Joe, if this is your first time, I'm going to need you to go back and watch it again.
Okay.
Without the magic and frills that you have to do, because
okay.
I don't think you should ever do this, or this is the first time you're seeing it because of what you have to do to them in order to be able to watch them.
Yeah.
On live on here. Speed him up and all that good stuff. It's just not the same. So
okay.
I definitely don't recommend that for most trailers if it's your first time. Just
okay. Well, look, I have to do this because
no. I'm just saying, make sure
I don't
want
to get zapped. So
no, I get why you're doing it here. I'm just saying this shouldn't be the first time you watch it.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's check this out, guys. It is the trailer for The Acolyte. Let's take a look.
Close your eyes. Your eyes can deceive you. We must not trust them.
Now, what is the time period here?
This is, from what I saw, it's about 132 BBY.
Yeah, it's a long time before.
So
are we talking 100 years, 1,000 years?
I literally just told you 132 BBY, Joe. I know you know.
I don't know what BBY means.
What? Before the Battle of Yavin, before the movies.
Okay.
How dare you? I got a lot to teach you.
No, I'm not going to retain that. Old dogs don't learn new tricks, bro. Okay.
BBY. Yeah.
You're
BBY
like talking to my daughter. She tries to talk to me and lead all the time too. I'm like, explain. Yeah.
BBY is BC.
Gotcha.
ABY is AD.
Gotcha.
Okay. In Star Wars.
I got it, bro.
So this is 132.
But that looked like the Jedi School to me. Is that what that was?
This is like nearing the end of the height of the Republic.
Okay.
So this takes place near the end part of High Republic, which is the period 200 to 300 years before the movies.
Okay. All right.
Tell me what comes into your mind.
Life. Balance. I see fire.
There's the future Sith.
Is that
Carrie-Anne Moss?
Trinity?
Yep,
that is Trinity.
Moss.
Yeah.
Carrie-Anne Moss. Wow, dude.
Okay. Now, by the way, the first guy, the Jedi Master teaching the kids, he is famous in his own right because he is the guy in Squid Games.
Oh, I've never seen that show. Yeah.
Oh man, talk about a brutal show. Like, oof.
Yeah.
If you ever want to really talk about pulp culture, you need to watch that show.
Okay.
That was now it's kind of died out because season 2 has been taking forever to get here, and we still don't know when it's actually going to arrive. But a couple of years ago, that was the show you had to watch. If you
I know it was right before I started streaming all the time, and the only reason why I didn't watch it was the subtitle thing. But
you got it. Yeah, that one.
But hey, wait a minute. I'm getting better. I'm getting better because I'm watching Shogun. I didn't know it was going to be so subtitle heavy, and I'm actually getting through it. So there is hope on that front. Okay?
I would say so. There's not. I would imagine there's less talking in Squid Games than there is in Shogun. So and because really the whole point of Squid Games is it's games, so it's not really them talking the games, So I think you got to give it a shot, dude. It's it's a brutal show.
Yeah,
it does not hold back.
I know what it's about. Yeah, I trust me. I've heard a lot about it. So yeah. It's funny. I got to answer this thing up here. That my man E. Clay Thomas said, "Why do you hate your clients' show?" It's not that I hate them; they're in rehab, bro. They're not supposed to be seeing. I don't show them anything with drugs in it. I don't show them anything with sex in it. And Roadhouse has a lot of sex. That's what I'm saying. It's more than they need to be seeing for sure. Okay, Carrie-Anne Moss. I missed this chick. I actually paid to go see Matrix 4, hoping it would be a good movie, and I was so disappointed. But anyway, I digress. Let's see what happens. What happened?
gone full Neo.
Still in Jedi.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense. What happened?
I sensed darkness.
Did I see a man bun on that Wookiee? Did I see that?
Yeah, they get their shit braided all the time.
Okay, all right.
They have long hair, Joe. They're fucking Wookiees.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power.
There's a lot of girls in this. A lot of girls.
It's Disney.
I'm scared.
It is, the showrunner is Harvey Weinstein's female pimp.
Yeah, I saw who that was. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Who was allowed to use it?
What is that?
Whoa, man. I'm pretty sure that the red lightsaber is Sith, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
No.
No?
Not necessarily. Now, okay, so when a kyber crystal gets corrupted with dark energy, it turns red. Okay, so that could just mean a fallen Jedi, a dark Jedi. It does not necessarily mean a Sith. Okay. So we're still going. I know a lot of people are going back on this one where the Jedi Council says the Sith haven't been seen for millennia, which is, you know, anytime there's something that's said in a movie, that's got to be canon for fucking everything, apparently.
Right.
You know, but so there's several different factors that can go into this. But even if it is Sith, we have no idea what happens in this one. And if you notice in that trailer, they all get blown to shit. So it's possible that none of those people live.
Yeah, right.
We're not beholden to any of these characters.
Now, I was watching something on another channel. They were talking about the gold lightsabers. Now that
yellow. Yeah, that's yellow, but
that's supposed to mean something too, right?
Nah, sort of. It is for the Jedi Sentinels, which became more of a thing during the Clone Wars cartoon.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it kind of fits with the High Republic theme that they're going with because they're more light and light based kind of thing. That's kind of their model or motto of life and light or something like that. So it kind of fits in with it. So, but yeah, I don't think we're going to see as many purple ones, but definitely yellow will be yellow even in because you even get a little bit of yellow in Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay,
you played the game. What's her name? Bastila has a yellow lightsaber.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's not unheard of.
No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. I just had heard that it meant something, that they were like guardians of something. I don't know if it was
they're more like guards. So generally what you have is you have the consulars, which are the green, and those are more of the wisdom, more of the force, things like that. Then you have the guardians, which is the blue, which those are more the warriors, the fighters, and then you have the sentinels, which are kind of in between.
Okay.
They're kind of both, but they're more guard like so stuff like that. So
yeah. I just knew there was something behind the colors of these things, and I thought for sure red was supposed to say that it, I'm a bad guy.
Well, just that corrupted. It's more appropriate.
Yeah, it does say bad guy. It just doesn't necessarily say Sith.
Right.
Gotcha.
Sith is an ideology. It is not just it doesn't encompass everything bad.
Gotcha. You can be a bad guy and not be a Sith.
Correct.
Gotcha.
You can be a good guy, good force user, and not be a Jedi.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And then white like Ahsoka, she has white ones. Those are red crystals that have been purified, and they turn white when they've been purified. So that's how that works.
That's cool. That's cool. Wait a minute. That really?
Yeah. So the two ones that she got, the two swords that she
the very first one we ever saw on screen, right? It was white.
No, it was blue.
Was it blue?
It was blue. Yeah. It was a very light blue, but it was blue. Yeah.
I was fixing to say it looked pretty white.
No. Obi-Wan Kenobi had a blue one.
I know what you're saying out there. Why does it got to be white? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, well, it's definitely taking it's the subject matter I like about Star Wars. It's the spiritual side of it, the Jedi and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? The Force users.
Mm-hmm.
It's about that. So yeah, John, I think you told me at one point that you're ready to give this a chance.
I'm gonna give it a chance because of Carrie-Anne Moss.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
that to me, that looks cool. That she's actually in. She's gonna be able to run the convention circuit forever between this and the Matrix. I mean, good Lord, man.
And Marvel.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll have to review this when it comes out. What's the release date of it? It's in April, right?
June 2nd, I believe it
June
was.
2nd.
June 2nd or June 4th.
All right.
Something like that. Yeah, I think you're right.
Right. So we will definitely, boys and girls, look forward to us.
That one, I will not be waiting week to week to watch.
I was fixing to say, you better get off your ass and watch that episode for this show so we can do our reviews, man. Damn it.
Well, I mean, I'm going to see it before you guys do because you're not going to watch it until freaking forever the week after because these are going to come out Tuesday night. So if you don't watch them on Wednesday, then, you have to wait.
I'll watch it on Wednesday. I got no problem watching.
We'll see. You say that now.
Oh, really? I watched Andor every time we did it.
Andor, I don't give a shit about Andor.
I know you didn't.
It took me 6 episodes.
I know it took you half the series to get into it. I was into it out the jump, dude. I like that one. But then again, that one put the war back in Star Wars, man. That's. I mean, I think Andor's stories, including Rogue One, has been the best thing that Disney Star Wars has done.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, man, that scene with Darth Vader at the end of fucking Rogue One is just badass. That's awesome. Love it. And you know what? When it comes to Star Wars, we've known about these projects that are coming out now for a while. And I'm holding out hope that it'll be good. You know what I'm worried about? I'm worried it's just going to be. I don't want to see too many more people get skewered with lightsabers and walk away from it. I'm really getting sick of seeing that shit. Which is what happened in both Kenobi and the last one. What was that last one we watched?
That was Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ahsoka. Yeah, I mean, but Ahsoka had some good stuff in it too. Ray Stevenson's part. So many questions I have about that character that are never going to get answered because he's. I mean, hopefully they'll recast that role and keep that story going.
Yeah, apparently productions is getting ready to start. I have no idea what the plan is for that.
They've got to recast it, don't they? Because he had kind of a cliffhanger ending, didn't he? And
I feel like if they do, they need to, or if they don't recast him, then it's got to be Shin that picks it up and picks up the journey, and she gets rid of that dumb storyline they were going to come in with her in the
right. And if that's the case, she's got to have some kind of epiphany at his passing that she was going down the wrong path.
And they have
So.
Well, and she when he dies, she's gonna feel it, right? There's a special connection between master and apprentice, so she'll feel it, and that's what I'm hoping. Like, she does away with that stupid side story and takes up the mantle, so to speak. Because I like her; she's awesome.
Yeah. Well, okay, boys and girls. Anything else you want to say about the Acolyte before we get out of here?
I'm gonna give it a go myself as well. For sure.
Look, it deals with my favorite part of the story, and it's something that's outside the scope of. I mean, I didn't watch a minute of Kenobi because I was like, okay, I know where his character goes in all the movies. All they can do is fail on this one, and I just I didn't want to even deal with that.
I got to tell you now, I thought it wasn't bad for some things, but it was really bad in others. Now, all the chase scenes with Leia were immensely stupid. There's no way that the 4-year-old or 5-year-old, whatever she was, running away from adults can get away. Like oh my God, they made it act like she was running 1,000,000 miles an hour, and like she's going nowhere. Like they didn't even have to run after her; they could have walked after her. Like it was asinine.
Say the soundtrack should have been Benny Hill music.
Yes, absolutely. It was that bad. Like they're like tripping over branches on paths and things like that. Like so stupid. They had 2 chase scenes with her, and they were both just as dumb. However, the first time Kenobi and Darth Vader fought again was pretty fucking epic because they did not hold. Vader murdered a kid. Like he straight up snapped the neck of a kid in that scene.
Yeah.
Like they didn't hold back with Vader on that one. He beat up Kenobi a little bit. And then later they had another epic fight, which was really, really powerful scenes in it. So for those 2 kind of were the redemptions for that show. Just the fact that they didn't hold Vader back. Like he on a Disney show, they had him murder a fucking kid. Like that blew me away. I did not expect that. I'm not saying, it's good to murder kids. I'm just saying Vader,
nobody's endorsing infanticide.
Right, disclaimer, please. I'm just saying I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting Disney. I mean, it wasn't like a little kid. It was a little older, like teenager, whatever. But still, was not expecting that to happen where he disregard of life like that Vader had. Which made it more interesting, made it more of a badass kind of thing. Like just he's an evil guy, or at least he's trying to pretend he is.
Well, Knock, for the interest of time, let me tell you this.
You have 2 minutes.
The Acolyte. Well, John's got a show coming up in half an hour. I'm trying to get him out of here.
I got you.
And I'm going to be right there with it. But this is the deal. The Acolyte is actually something that I would like to see more of. It's an original story in this universe. These characters have nothing to do with anybody that's in the current universe, right?
There's a couple
other than the fact that they're
alive,
in the same universe. That's this is 100 years plus beforehand, right? So
there's a couple beings that are alive.
I'm sure Yoda's in there somewhere. I'm sure he's going to appear somewhere.
Darth Plagueis is born.
If it has something to do with the Jedi Order, he's going to be in there somewhere, right? Yoda's going to show up. The guys that lived more, the human characters, we're not going to see, right? But
I thought I told you the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Right? Yeah, I've heard that a lot about this one. What do you think, Doc? You think we're going to see him in this?
It's possible. I mean, because he's born at this point, he is alive for a little bit. And he lived for quite a while before Palpatine took him out. So it's possible. It's certainly, if not him, then his master.
I hear you. Well, we got the Acolyte to look forward to. If it's bad, we will roast it. And if it's good, we will praise it. You know how we do on this channel. We don't like to let other people do the thinking for us. We do it for ourselves. So with that, we're going to be done with this week. I really missed doing the show last week, but guys, I got to tell you, Dune in fucking IMAX was awesome. That really was. Like I was telling Knock before the show, this is why we didn't have the show last week. My friend hadn't seen it, and I wanted to see it again in IMAX, so I spent the $16 a ticket for us to go.
And he couldn't pick any other day but the one day that we have.
No, we couldn't because his work schedule, my work schedules conflict. The only day off we have together is Wednesday. That's the only one. So I just had to do it, man. I had to do it. And
I took off an entire week last week. So
yeah, there you go. So I will say this about those filmmakers that film for IMAX. 2 things I'd like you to do. 1, do not get so close with the camera during melee scenes between 2 characters because it's hard to see what's going on. And number 2, get rid of shaky cam completely. Do not do that for IMAX watchers, okay?
That should be for any film. No shaky cam at all.
On a regular film, doesn't hurt so bad. Everybody loves that movie that Michael Bay made, The Rock, with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage, but I can't watch it because of all the shaky cam during the friggin' chase scenes. It's ridiculous. It's like he purposely caused an earthquake in California or something. It's ridiculous. But yeah, when you're seeing it on an IMAX screen, it will definitely jack your ass up. You can't even look at the screen. It's ridiculous. And in Dune, there's only like one part that they did that, and I believe it was when they were attacking the spice fields. There was a shaky cam part, and I was like, God, man, God, please. But yeah, that when it comes to the Emperor's ship coming down and the entire army of the Sodakar down there and everything, dude, those grand scenes are just awesome in IMAX, man. They are fantastic. They really are. So, boys and girls, let me fill you in on what's going on with the channel. It's good to be back. We will be back every Wednesday from here on out, unless I've got something huge going on. Of course, you know you're watching State of the Atmosphere. It's our attempt to bring you everything pop culture in the last week. It's actually been 2 weeks since we did this, so sorry if we didn't cover Ghostbusters enough for you. But I'm just not a big fan, and I don't. The rest of the panel isn't totally committed to it like I am. So, of course, next on Pop Culture Vinefield's channel, you've got Game Night with John Das Wolfen. Our own Das Wolfen will be there playing Uncharted Lost Legacy. Now, this seems to be 2 female characters doing an Uncharted story, and not pretty easy on the eyes. So, yeah, come check it out. John will be failing, I'm sure, several times. He doesn't fail as much as I do because I drink when I play video games. But anyway, it's coming your way at 8 p.m. Central Time on Pop Culture Minefield's channel. And then later on tonight at 11 p.m. Central Time, I start my playthrough of Mass Effect on Papa Joe Gamer After Dark. So tune in for that. And yes, I'm going to play a male character, boys and girls. I heard that I can have relationships with chicken here. So I'm going to go chicks. So I'm going to go straight James Bond in Mass Effect here and have some fun. Woohoo! So come check it out. Papa Joe Gamer After Dark, video games, cocktails, and fails at 11 p.m. Central Time. And then Friday, you'll see me sketching the Privateer. I'm currently working on a family portrait of the Privateer family. If you want to know what I'm talking about, tune in at 1 p.m. Central Time when I show you the story of America's Pirate Patriot sketching the Privateer every Friday at 1 p.m. Central. And then Friday night at 8, you can see my 2 co-hosts here on Game Night again on Pop Culture Minefield's channel at 8 p.m. Central Time, playing Detroit Become Human. John plays the game and Knock does the trolling. So you guys go check that out on Friday at Pop Culture Minefield's channel at 8 p.m. Central Time. And then
this might
Sunday,
be the finale for that too.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end.
Are you?
Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah. I believe this might be the finale one. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So definitely come check that out, man. 8 p.m. Central Time on Pop Culture Minefield's channel. And then Highlander and I will be in Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time for the Brothers Hack the Matrix. We'll be showing you everything that happened in the last week in the clown show that is 2024. So check us out Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time. And then starting soon, not sure when, he's been out of pocket for a little bit, but I talked to him today. He's still around. He's just been a little busy with personal stuff. MF Roadhouse should be making its return Sunday nights late coming up. So monitor Jed Revenwolf's channels to find out when that's coming. Monday on Military Monday on Pop Culture Minefield's channel, it's a military movie with Gary. I don't know which one he's doing. He's got a couple of really good ones coming up, though. He's doing 300 in the next couple of weeks. And Aliens, I think 2 weeks from now, but he doesn't have a thumbnail up for this week. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a second one of this one, because I think that's a TV series, isn't it, John? Masters of the Year. He did that last week. But anyway, he'll be covering a military movie, and if I can get up in time, I missed it this week, but if I can get up in time, I'll be there. Another reason why I wasn't on there, I haven't watched this show, so I really didn't feel like I.
Yeah, that's Apple TV. I definitely mean to go.
I'm sure it's good then.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff Apple puts out is really good, so
it is.
Military Monday comes your way at 10 a.m. Central Time on Pop Culture Minefield's channel, and then I believe we're getting back to music on It's Only Talk and Roll on That 70s Rock Fans channel. He did Colossus, the Forbin Project, a science fiction movie that he loves, this last week. But I think he's doing that drummer. What's his name? Powell, I think is his last name. Cody Powell, is that right?
Cubby. I think it's Cubby Powell, something like that.
I can't remember the guy's first name, but his last name's Powell. He played with several different bands. So he's going to be doing that at 4 p.m. Central Time on That 70s Rock Fans channel. So come check that out. And then I start my streaming week on Tuesdays, and it's Papa Joe Gamer After Dark, video games, cocktails, and fails. We're going to play some more Stuntman Ignition, see how far I can get in that thing. And this game definitely puts the fails in the show. It's a stuntman listening to a director trying to get his drive his way through a scene with everything blowing up around him. So it's a lot of fun. Check that out at 10 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday. And then we're right back around to here. But I did want to mention, if you guys didn't get to see it, I did my first watch party this weekend, and I believe we had a good time. We watched V, the original miniseries. Knock got to see it for the first time. I'm sure he knows now why I say that it really was a heavy influence for Independence Day. And so if you haven't seen that show, go check it out. I pulled down the videos because all it was the three of us hanging out and watching the show. So you guys, next time I have a watch party, I'll let you know in plenty of time. I did that kind of impromptu because we couldn't do my brother's show, and it was he's had a death in the family over there in Texas, his married family, and our heart goes out to them, especially my sister-in-law Kim. We'll be going over for the remembrance a couple weeks from now, but anyway, that's why I decided to do a watch party this weekend. So next time I will have plenty of leeway to let you know what's going on with it. So for myself, the Knockster, and Das Wolfen, we want to thank you for being here. And until we see you again, I want you to keep on keeping on. God bless. No, Knock, I'm not putting Sydney Sweeney in this final scene. I'm not doing it. I refuse. I like mine, okay? I don't need D-cups running around.